Welcome to the Nerd Card. I'm Phil.
I'm Chuck.
And today we're going to be having another nerd talk, and we're going to be talking about kind of an interesting topic.
Yeah. We think so anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, we think so. Is the superhero market oversaturated in movies? And our answer is yes.
But I'm going to say yes with a but.
Yes with a but. Yes.
Because it's still making a lot of money for Hollywood.
Well, and I'll tell you this too. Every time something comes out, we go and watch it. I mean, we're the suckers. We're like,
we are the key demographic.
Another one? Okay.
And we are the ones giving them money.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And if you're watching this show, then you're the ones giving them the money too.
It's true. It really is. Go seek help.
Go seek help or seek help?
Did you say seek help?
Yeah, that's what I thought you said the first time.
Seek help.
Yeah, I mean, because kelp's not that easy to find.
Or as Thor says, get help.
Get help.
Let's do get help.
Yeah, this is Thor. Listen, buddy, if you don't know about this game. Listen, new Master 69. Yeah, Thor, God of Thunder.
Let's do get help.
But yeah, no. In any event, there's everything that comes out is a superhero movie, right? Not everything, but it seems that way, and that's why we said everything that comes out is superhero movie. I'm sure if you brought up the current movie listings of what's out right now, they're not all superhero movies.
There's more stuff, but who gives a shit? We're gonna. We like superhero movies,
well, and that's what tends to make a lot of money, right? Are superhero films. You know, Spider-Man: Far From Home. You know, or No Way Home. I'm sorry,
No Way Home. Yeah,
has just made nearly $1 billion. It might have crossed the $1 billion barrier already.
Sure.
The new Batman, Robert Pattinson, has made close to $1 billion. I think it owns around 800 million globally.
It does. Well, you know, the difference is too, you know, superhero movies were not always a huge thing because they weren't that good.
Well, I mean, back in the day, okay, you're talking the big superhero movies when they came out was like Superman with Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have seen any of those. None of those are very good movies.
They're
pretty popular, though. I mean, they
were popular.
They did well. I mean, they made 3 of those Superman movies.
Sure.
But that's really, and then it was pretty light. I mean, there were some Marvel movies, and this is after it, right? There were some Marvel, like Blade, Marvel movie. People didn't realize that, the original Blade. And that came out in what, like 1995-ish?
Yeah, it's
time
frame,
an older
95,
movie, 96, maybe even a little bit later than that. But Blade was a fun movie.
Sure.
I mean, 1998, I think, actually was the year. But anyway, neither here nor there. That doesn't never scream superhero movie. People look at it as a vampire movie.
Right, exactly.
You know.
But when you really get into the modern superhero movies, it all starts with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first big... Actually, Batman 1989 is what I would go back to.
I think it got a lot bigger when you get into... Okay, so the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, yeah, of course, Batman 1989 was a big part of it. But the X-Men, the original X-Men...
Which came out right after the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or right around the same time, actually. It actually might have been before. I think it actually predates it. It predates it. Yeah.
I believe you're correct.
You're right. It was X-Men first.
Yep.
And then it was Sam Raimi Spider-Man. And those X-Men movies were very big, right? Because X-Men...
They were big, but were they good?
I think the first one is.
I'd agree with the exception of Darth Maul getting electrocuted and the terrible line that goes with it.
Yeah, is that in the first one or the second one?
It's in the first one.
Okay. Yeah, I like the first one. I don't care for the third one. It was the first time that Marvel butchered the Dark Phoenix, or I'm sorry, that Fox butchered the Dark Phoenix, and they butcher it again more recently.
You're not wrong.
First time with Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, and the last time with Sansa as Jean Grey. I know her name's Sophie Turner, but I always call her Sansa.
Yeah.
So yeah, the X-Men movies came out, but they did. The thing is, though, the X-Men movies were cast really well, largely. I mean, Patrick Stewart as Professor X.
Hugh Jackman has made a career of being Wolverine.
I mean, they were cast very, very well. Even Anna Paquin as Rogue was a good casting.
It wasn't bad, yeah.
You know, the guy who played Cyclops, or not Cyclops, James Marsden, I'm thinking Colossus was who was in my head. I said Cyclops. But
James Marsden was good as Cyclops.
Yeah. They were cast well. All right. Until, Apocalypse one with, Poe Dameron as Apocalypse was terrible. I'm sorry. I like Oscar Isaac. Obviously, you guys are watching our Moon Knight series.
Yeah, you're watching the Moon Knight series,
But as Apocalypse was terrible.
Sure.
Bad casting there. But that's the next brand of X-Men movie. That wasn't the original flavor.
Right.
So, yeah, it started with that. And then you go into like you said, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Which, again, same thing. The first one was really good. The second one was even better. And the third one is terrible.
Absolutely terrible. But I think what that did is it made it viable for a superhero movie to be a box office blockbuster.
Well, then they kind of took a little bit of a pause.
They did. They really took a huge pause.
The Fantastic Fours in there, which were just bad movies.
We don't talk about those.
They're bad movies.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have Batman Begins, brought it back up again. Really, DC started this up again, and then Marvel kicked them in the groin and ran away with their lunch money.
They really
because they started
in the same year too, because DC went Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and running high. The Dark Knight is one of the best comic book movies of all time
to this day, for sure.
To this day,
yeah.
And that same year, Iron Man came out.
Yeah.
And Marvel went, hey, you know what? That was a good one. We got you from here.
Yeah, we'll take this from here. Thanks for carrying the water.
And that was it.
Then going forward, even The Dark Knight Rises, as good of a movie it isn't until the end, does really well. It's nothing compared to an MCU movie.
It really isn't.
At the end of the day.
But it could have been.
Sure.
DC dropped the ball, and we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the question here is it oversaturated?
Yeah, I think the answer is yes.
It is.
But usually when something's oversaturated, it doesn't get any more business, and it continues to get business.
It does continue to get business. And frankly,
that's the weird thing about this question.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Frankly, I'm going to watch any MCU movie that comes out, any DC movie that comes out, because it's something that's interesting to me, and it's entertaining. It's just plain and simple.
Superheroes are everywhere. If you look at, you have the movies coming out, right? Just recently you had the new Batman. You have Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness coming out. You had Spider-Man No Way Home, that had come out. You have Flashpoints coming out. If you look at the CW, you got the Green Arrow, you got Supergirl, you got the Flash. Disney Plus, you've had the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you've had WandaVision,
Moon
Knight. Have Moon Knight right now, you've had Loki.
Yeah.
So those are just that's just in recent
years. Over the course of the last 2 years.
And and there's more than that. There's more than those movies. The Black Widow, has come out in that time frame. Eternals, Shang-Chi, Endgame was 2019. This stuff just continues and continues and continues. And so I think it's absolutely oversaturated, but it also speaks to how strong of a storyline these comic heroes are, and how much they bring out of people, how much people identify with the joy that it gives them anyway. They don't necessarily identify with the superhero, but it brings them joy. Although we identify with the alter egos, I think is the fun part.
But that's a good point. From the beginning of motion picture, there have been adaptations of the written word.
Sure.
And, it's always been... older stories, older books, not anything graphic novels. And with moving with the times.
Yeah. Books go into movies.
Books to movies. And then you go back and you look for more source material. And what's the best source material? You've got comic books, which are thousands and thousands and thousands of different stories. Yeah, easily.
Yeah. So you're going through and so you have all this source material, and people identify with them. And I think that's part of that's what makes the superhero genre so big, and why people are drawn to them, is because every big superhero has an alter ego that you either identify with in your current situation, or you would aspire to be like, right? People want to be Bruce Wayne. People identify with being Peter Parker.
Yeah.
People identify with these alter egos of these superheroes, and then so you want to see them succeed on the big screen. Watching Moon Knight now, people are going to identify with Mark Spector's character and Stephen.
With Stephen Grant,
especially with Stephen more than Mark Spector even. So when you watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the troubles that both Bucky and Cap were in that,
You identify with
it.
Sam Wilson
Yeah.
and having, financial issues. I mean, that's kind of it's a big thing. It's a big thing for everybody. And you're absolutely right. That makes it universal. And the fact that there are so many stories to be told.
Which is why they can keep their saturated market and still make a ton of money.
You're absolutely right. So I think in conclusion, is the market saturated?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Jerry Smith.
Yes.
Do we want to keep seeing them?
Yes, Jerry Smith.
You absolutely bet. We definitely want to see them. So I think we're going to wrap it up with that. I would like to remind you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, all of that good stuff. Let us know what you think. Take to the comments. Let us know. We want to. Do you think it's oversaturated? Do you think this should keep going? They're going to keep going anyway. It doesn't really matter. Are you going to keep watching? That's what we want to know. And with that, we will say,
what's on your nerd card?